Welcome to NBNR, the authority on unfiltered opinions and authentic player insight for Nebraska athletics. Connect with us on Twitter, Instagram, and at nbnrpodcast.com.
We have the saying, no block, no rock.
You know, we just really love Utter. He's a junkyard dog.
Kenny Bell ran up to me. He's like, you know what you just did?
You get mad when you go get in the portal and go to another podcast?
You know, usually dumbbells are in pairs. They had 5 dumbbells.
Dang on it, Muhammad!
GBR. Kyle, there he is on the ones and twos, keeping it hot and crispy for us.
On the buttons.
Oh, yeah. Every week. Go Big Red, indeed. No block, no rock. Season 3, episode 37.
Okay, continuing the streak. I love to see that.
Thank
and
you.
I do want to point out, I know Mike said it last week. I wasn't on last week. I did appreciate the Wu-Tang reference. I did.
Come on.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Yeah, we're like,
Listen.
O'Connor would love that.
I did love it.
Good.
Like, I know that a lot of people have Wu-Tang stickers because they're...
No. There's something way more important than that. Show me that again. Look at that, Herbie!
Oh, wait,
Let's
did you get
go!
that? Did you get that today?
No,
No.
I've had this a while. Thank you.
Weird.
Come on now. We are in the Nebraska Brewing Company tap room, 108th and Harrison in La Vista, Nebraska. 68128. I myself drinking a no Bach, no rock.
Yes.
Back on tap in the tap room.
It's Bach on tap.
Man, I'm telling it's Bach. That's good. Hey, okay, I see you. Damn.
Now that I just need to can
Hey.
it, can it.
Why couldn't I come up with that shit?
Because
Good
you're
job.
not witty like me.
I know. No, but it's good. It's got that caramel taste.
Oh, yeah.
A little bit of toffee. What percentage?
You put me on the spot. No, I don't. Off the top of my head, I really should.
Tastes like
If you have 4, you might be drunk.
If I had to guess, it's probably right around 6%.
Okay, yeah, it tastes like 6.
Yeah.
Michael Delaware.
Yes, sir.
What you drinking, boy?
I am drinking the new Blood Orange Radler. What's it called?
It's Blood Orange Rattler. So the style is Rattler. You had that right.
Okay.
But it's Rattler. We have a little
with the
rattlesnake on the front. Yeah.
It's like, I'm a snake.
Sneaky little snack.
That is a taproom only beer. It's tart.
No,
but
I don't think it's tart. I like it a lot.
It's nice and fruity. It's low in alcohol.
Yeah.
You can hammer like 8 of them.
Yeah.
You'll be fine.
Yeah.
Mike's on his 5th.
Yeah, right.
6th. I've been counting.
KB, what you got?
I've got the Ale Storm. You're starting to see a pattern here where I'm stepping out of the Taco Veza phase of my life.
Is this 3 weeks in a row with Hailstorm as the first beer?
Well, I don't know. I think like 3 weeks in a row where I haven't had Taco Veza to start.
Fair.
I've had a couple different things, but I will say my cousin and I stopped in the brewery this weekend and got ourselves a little bit of that NBNR beer.
There you go.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yes,
For the
sir.
brand.
That's right. Yeah, Connor.
Yes.
You're drinking pills.
I am drinking pills, as always. I'm addicted to pills. I want to make shirts with that. For some reason, they are not in favor of that slogan.
Mike,
That's kind of weird.
Damn it, you're the only one that laughed at that. He's not. How is he gonna keep doing jokes?
I got one laugh. That's all I needed. That's all the encouragement I needed.
Hey, the pills is going away soon. So we'll call that rehab? Is it?
Well, no, it's going away in cans. But it's staying in draft. Don't worry.
Oh, okay. Well, that's nice. Cool then.
So we got a guest today.
Yes, we do.
Hello.
Hello.
Would you like to introduce yourself?
Well, I'll stay on the beer theme. I'm drinking taco
Taco Veza.
Taco
Yeah,
Veza.
yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's pretty tasty. Not a big craft beer guy myself, but hey, it's good. It's good.
It tastes like Corona, no free plugs, without the skunk. That's how I feel. The Taco Veza is like a non-skunky, good tasting Mexican beer.
No, it's good.
Yeah.
It's not. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't necessarily need the lime. It's just a little cherry lime on top.
Yeah.
You don't need it. Joey Felici.
Yes.
Hello.
Sir.
Since you wouldn't say your own name,
Oh.
I'll say it for you. I got you, man. I got you.
Hey, thank you guys for having me. I grew up in Nebraska, Omaha guy.
Yes, sir.
So appreciate you guys having me on the pod.
Yeah, man. A Millard South guy to
Millard
boot.
South guy.
Yes.
And you know what?
Get
We
this
might
out
as well
the
get
way.
that out of the way now.
Yeah.
So during the tenure of former head coach Scott, I consistently said, because he was so bad at the fundamentals of football, I consistently said that Millard South's old head coach, Andy Means, could win some of these games because on 4th and 1 at the 1 yard line, he wouldn't line up in shotgun or he wouldn't onside it when he's up 2 scores. Do you agree with that? Like, do you think that
Andy Means is a great coach. College and high school are totally different.
Yeah.
Totally different. But we were able to win a lot of games when I was in high school, and had some.
We were there.
Played in 2 state championships, both against Millard West. Lost one, won one. So we were there. We were always competing. You got to be in contention. I mean, he's a great coach. Sad that he had to retire, but you got to hang him up at some time.
Well,
Right.
Sure.
It's kind of old,
Jared, is it weird that I feel like you and I are caught in the middle of this triangle jerk?
Yeah,
North South triangle jerk.
All these guys
Yeah.
are reaching around each other, and we're just like looking around. Who's gonna get us?
Come on. While Joey was scoring touchdowns, Kyle and I were in the stands wearing trash bags and shit. So we really weren't doing much.
Right. we were doing then what we do now.
Yeah,
We just sit in the
talk
stands
shit.
and talk shit.
Yeah.
Maybe drink beer.
Yeah.
Yes. Now.
Well, hey, it was being at Millard South. I used to always tell this. I mean, if you went to Millard West or Millard North, I mean, you had to take a bus to your home game. So imagine that. Imagine you have to get on a bus to go to a home game.
Poverty
Right.
programs is what we call them.
Yeah, it's nice when you have the stadium right in your backyard. So.
Right.
Now that Mike's gotten his Andy Means quota,
You knew he was
Fulfilled.
itching for it. It
He's the
took
first
all of 2 minutes.
Millard South guy on.
Yeah.
So, I had to ask
You're
because
right.
he's my guy that I say every time. I'm like, I'm not calling Andy a bad coach. I'm just emphasizing that any basic coach could make the responsible call when they're in that situation. It didn't matter.
to not
I think-
onside when you're up 2 scores?
Yeah, that or, like just the fundamentals of lining up, under center and falling
Not-
over or anything like that would be cool.
Not being a dipshit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I think that's fair. So today, Monday, April 17th, it has been unveiled. A new / old Herbie.
It's. I love that they called it modernized when there's like literally only one slight modification.
Well, let's
his
talk about
face
that.
is different.
Let's just talk about that. So let's just go around and just like give your like impressions on this new revamped Herbie Husker. I guess you can go since you've already kind of said it.
I fucking love it. It's nice to, and they mention it. I'm sure at this point, most of us, if not all of us, have seen the video. I love it. Returning to our roots. In fact, my girlfriend, who doesn't even watch football, was like, I like it. I was like, why is that? She's like, well, we fucking sucked with the new Herbie. And I was like, well, you got a point. But no, I like returning to the roots. Again, I think the only modification was the hand gesture, just to the pointing up one.
There's a few. There's some.
There's some slight
Well, we haven't
modifications.
really seen it though, right?
Oh, they put it in the
Well,
video.
the cartoon. We've seen the cartoon.
Right, you just saw
Yeah.
the picture.
Yeah.
though,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But no, it feels more Nebraskan. Putting the corn in the pocket, wearing the overalls, it feels more Nebraskan. I love it. Mike, what do you think?
Yeah. Go, Mike.
Okay. Yeah. So the new Herbie, I feel like, and this is kind of weird, but I feel like it looks like the modern Herbie that we had just got rid of, and the fat farmer just had a kid, and that's what this one looks like. It seriously looks like the farmer Herbie had worked out a little bit, and now we have a Herbie that's
Keto Herbie.
politically correct.
What did you think he was doing in his downtime? You think he wasn't working out?
And he looks in shape.
Yeah.
So
Cut a few
no, I
pounds.
do like it. I'm glad that they're going back. I like how it said, like, hey, sometimes you got to look back before you look forward. We did win a lot of games with the brown-haired Herbie. You were part of those. We did win some games. So, but I am ready to kind of turn the page on that because I hated that look. I feel like I call that like the Walmart Herbie. Like I didn't like. You knew you could get Husker gear at Walmart because it had his face on it. I didn't want that. So I'm glad that we're back to our roots.
Yeah. Well, I grew up. My dad has Herbie tatted on his chest. Like I grew up.
Hell
like
yeah.
Like that's like the symbol of
The
Nebraska
Walmart
football
Herbie's
for me.
tattooed on your dad's chest.
No.
Come on, Mike.
No.
Fat
so,
farmer one.
Yeah, that's like my symbol for Nebraska football. So I was ecstatic. Like I knew there was like rumors and stuff leading up to it, but they finally dropped the video today. So now you've got, No Block, No Rock dropping all sorts of, Husker Herbie, like videos all over the place. So yeah, we're pumped.
Yeah, dude. Getting rid of that shameful
Poser.
get out from 2003 until 2023. 20 years of that brunette Herbie. Well, how did that last so long? How did nobody look at that and go, we're still doing this? Have you seen that fucking cartoon face on? In fact, I was going to ask you guys if there's any merch that you have with that brunette Herbie on it. Bring it tonight. Let's make a bonfire.
Yeah.
Seriously.
You think I would buy that shit?
I don't know anything with that shit on it.
Like, I hope not. Like, I see people walking around with a shirt with that brunette Herbie, and I'm like, either someone else bought that for you, or you had to buy that in like a pinch because you were just very desperate. Like,
So-
seriously.
Real question. In a 5-round fight, does blonde Herbie knock out brunette Herbie in the first round or the second? Because there's no way it doesn't end in a knockout. Blonde Herbie's a bad motherfucker.
There's 2 hits.
Yeah. It is blonde Herbie hitting him getting knocked out, and blonde Herbie hitting him again while he's on the ground.
Hell yeah.
Blonde Herbie doesn't fight fair, and I love it.
Yes.
He's holding the number 1, of course. I know they made that change, but the Herbie before that. In a perfect world, I'm still looking for the okay sign.
Yeah,
I'm making the
everything's
sign.
okay.
This is okay. Nothing else.
You turn it upside
People.
down, you can maybe call this an M and an R for Matt Rule.
Yeah,
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Listen, like, could you imagine if they came back with this newer Herbie today? I think a lot of people would be like, I'm down.
Nebraska Athletics, hire me in the marketing department. Just saying.
Joe, yeah, go. What?
No, I don't have anything. I just think
If they listen to
we're gonna
one
go upside
episode of
down
me
and be
talking,
like,
they would not
"You're
fucking
getting
hire
it."
me.
Hey, here you go. This is Herbie now. Boom.
Or even just like a horns down. Can we do that? Are we going to get fined for that?
We could probably play with that.
Soft.
So they kept the corn. He's a little skinnier. The cowboy hat looks a little better, I would say. Overall, I'm happy. The shoes look. He's not as like pigeon-toed as before.
Yeah.
I'm looking at a picture.
I figured.
So I can dig it. I just wish it was the okay sign and maybe just a little fatter.
No.
Joey, I like my little fat Herbie.
Joey, what do you think?
Yeah,
of
Joey,
the
you,
Herbie? Have you
you
seen the
played
new Herbie?
under.
Yeah, I've seen the new one. My original, the first time I saw it, there's a fan that always comes to the games dressed up as the old Herbie, like away games and
But I haven't
everything,
seen
and
that guy in a long time, though.
And so I immediately thought of him. He's got to be ecstatic right now. That
Oh,
guy,
yeah.
he's
The
like,
brand is revived.
Yeah, he's got to be just super ecstatic. But at the end of the day, it's cool. It caught your girlfriend's attention, right?
Yeah.
So it's catching people's attention. They push out a lot of content. I don't care what the mascot looks like. He could be on a skateboard, scooter, running around. You got to win
In a
games
tutu.
on Saturdays in the fall. So the mascot can look like whatever.
Yeah.
But
That's
it's
fair.
cool that they're revamping and going back to the history, and I'm sure there'll be something big for the spring game. I would imagine, because they didn't really show him, right? They showed
In the video, yeah.
picture, but not
Yeah, it was like
actual
a mock-up.
mascot. So yeah, I'm sure they got something planned to kind of keep you on your toes. So
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. God damn it, Mike. Didn't we?
Kinda. Not really.
Well, okay. All right. We can cut all that, right?
Yeah.
Well, he's sending me fucking cryptic messages over here.
Joe, you can say whatever you want. If you want to cut, just tell us.
gotcha. Thank you.
So we did say
That's-
your name earlier.
Yeah.
This is Joey Felici. You made your name
Yeah,
on special teams.
definitely. Yeah.
If you could just kind of get into what made you commit to Nebraska.
Yeah.
I know you got family connections.
Yep.
At Nebraska. Just get into
Yeah.
why you went there, your experience.
Definitely. So
Play for
yeah, I
Nebraska.
said earlier, grew up in Omaha, went to Millard South, had the opportunity to walk on. Not lightly recruited, wasn't really recruited coming out of high school. I had took a visit to South Dakota State and some schools, and it was a lot colder up in South Dakota than it was in Nebraska. And I played in snow games and stuff too, but I just knew when I took that visit, I was like, yeah, this is probably not for me. And got the opportunity, like you mentioned. Yeah, my dad walked on in the 80s, was a way better football player than I was. And yeah, I got the opportunity. I was like, you know what? I didn't want that regret, right? Of like, if I went to South Dakota State or somewhere, like, man, could I have played? Could I not have? So just kind of went for it. And probably one of the best decisions I ever made in my life. Some of my best friends to this day, I was able to meet in those 4 years from 2010 to 14. And yeah, I always tell people too, I was at the university in a unique time to where my freshman year, we're in the Big 12, actually played in the Big 12 championship against Oklahoma and Dallas. And then in 2011, we made the jump to the Big 10. So it was kind of like, got to see a little bit of both conferences. And being the naive student athlete, it was like, wow, this is purely for athletics. But the academic side of the Big 10, when you talk about a lot of our colleges and just, joining a lot of those universities that are really pristine, it was cool to be a part of that. So yeah, played defensive back, mostly special teams. I knew my freshman year going into a room of defensive backs that had Prince Mukamara, Deshaun Gomes, Eric Haig, Alfonso Denner. I knew I probably wasn't going to be playing defensive back.
That's fair. That's a fair statement.
So is try to get my name on special teams, right, and just kind of grinding it out. Also had 4 different position coaches while I was down there. Came in under Marvin Sanders, which he was an awesome coach and recruited me a little bit, and then Corey Raymond, and then I had Terry Joseph, Mickey Joseph's cousin, and then Charlton Warren my last year. So it's kind of a revolving door. But one thing about Bo is he was a defensive back at Ohio State, so he always stayed in the room and helped the defense because some guys were technicians more versus maybe knowing the defense, and Bo's defense was pretty elaborate to say the least. So yeah, it was a fun opportunity.
So I was going to ask you, since you did make your name on special teams, I know this past year was improved. You know, you had Bill Bush kind of running things a little bit. But how painful was it to watch the special team squad the past couple of years?
It's hard when you can't cover a kick. I mean, I remember, it was maybe 2 years ago that we started off the Wisconsin game where they take that kick back and you're just like scratching your head because it's like, man, to start the game off, you can't even, field possession. I mean, it's the third phase of the game, right? Special teams. And you talk about field possession and analytics that everybody's into. I mean, you got to be able to cover kicks, cover punts, tackle. And those are the things that aren't as sexy, right? Like, no one wants to be running down on punt. No one wants to do those things. And when you have guys, I mean, that's what has been nice about our walk-on program, right? Guys that, want to do it all the time and they don't care. But also for the scholarship guys or people, trying to earn away, a young guy, getting some stuff on film. And I mean, you see some of these guys go to the NFL and they have good special teams careers because, I mean, you're in the NFL, you're playing and doesn't matter. So if you can put that on film in college, why not?
Yeah.
So hopefully we can get back to that, right? Tackling and getting down. And then on the other side, right, returning punts and kicks and having those opportunities. So hopefully it was tough to watch. I'm not going to lie, especially some of those head scratchers. I mean, you talked about kicking out onside when you're in Ireland and some of those things that you just, head scratchers and situational football.
Had a little too much Guinness the night before.
Right. Yeah.
So you mentioned your time at the University of Nebraska was kind of unique. It was a weird era. So you get to play under Bo and Mike Riley. A question we ask a lot was like, what's the transition like? But the one I want to ask is, what was the energy level like? Was there like a higher energy on one end or the other?
So I didn't actually play under Riley. So he came in, Barney Cotton coached our bowl game. So my senior year was that year. So Bo's like our last game against USC in the Holiday Bowl was my final game. So I remember, but I will tell you this. I remember, so they fired Bo after we just beat Iowa, won our 9th game. Then they fired him and Riley, they didn't hire Riley till later, but he did call everybody in to like have a meeting that I went to and like heard him speak. I was like, I don't want to see what this guy is talking about. Right? Like not a lot of the seniors win, I think. And just to kind of hear, but no, so I didn't, get that. I mean, my 5th year ran out. But I mean, Riley seemed like, the nice guy, right? Versus Bo is definitely what they wanted to bring in. And Bo was just totally different, and more or less so for Riley, I don't know what the energy was like for him. I knew like Nate Gary and Brandon Riley and some of the guys that played under him, and they probably said it was totally different. I mean, Bo was more militant and kind of no nonsense, which I think that's what Riley kind of right now has more of a structure, a good standard, but then also can talk to the media and do those things. So
right.
Did you find that militant energy? Did that drive you a little bit?
It gave you, you're 18 to 22-year-old kids. You need structure, right? It doesn't matter if you came from a 2-parent household, 1 parent, whatever. I mean, you need structure. You need somebody. I mean, and more or less Bo, I mean, as you get into the real world, right, and start working, you show up on time, you do the little things, you pay attention. So he prepared you for life. So I appreciated that from Bo because, as a walk-on too, he gave me an opportunity to play on Saturdays in the fall. And, you take those little like lessons competing every day, right? It don't matter if we're in this brewery playing darts or something, like I'm trying to win.
Right.
Or we're playing pool or some shit. I mean, any of that stuff. And I mean, just like you're competing in the classroom, you're competing in anything. When you get out in the real world, you know, you're going to get tested. It's life. You're going to have to go through adversity. And that's what's awesome about the game of football, because it's like the ultimate team game. You got to be a team player. You also get faced with adversity and come back. And yeah, Bo, I needed that structure. I mean, as a college kid.
Yeah.
And so I think hopefully, you know, Rule can bring that same attitude and get this program where it needs to be.
Well, speaking of, I mean, as a former player yourself, we're hopeful. We try to pride ourselves as being the anti-Kool-Aid, like, hey, everybody just kind of chill out a little bit. But we're on board with everything that we've seen, everything that he said. I mean, I can't think of one thing that he said or done that has made me go, I don't know. Are you kind of feeling the same way about him right now?
You know, he's, like you said, he won the press conferences. I went to practice at the end of March. He invited all the former players back, which was really cool. It was a big recruiting weekend, and, you know, he took the time to address all the former players, and he's very personable. He wants to win. You know, you can just tell he's a grinder. The game of football means something to him, and he's got a big staff. That's kind of one of the first things I noticed out there in practice. I mean, there's a lot of people running around. Everybody's moving. So you got to appreciate that. And, you know, he's a game manager, so he's going to let his coaches coach. It'll just be fun to, see what that looks like, right? I mean, you get tested early on a Thursday night up in Minnesota, and then 2 games. When's the last time we've opened up with 2 games on the road?
Right. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
and, you know, against a team that, I mean, Fleck, look, he's a good coach. I don't care what anybody says.
Since Bo, we haven't really beat him much.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, that's like pretty much all the teams, but like especially freaking Minnesota.
I will give PJ Fleck credit as a good coach, but still fuck him. Yeah. Still fuck PJ Fleck.
Somebody that hates PJ Fleck too.
We put that like who has the most punchable face in the Big Ten, and most people say PJ Fleck.
Right.
Does. Yeah.
In his pants.
I do have to say, Harbaugh is going up that list. Just because, like, he's got the glasses on, and he kind of has this, like,
and Harbaugh wears cleats too, right?
Yeah. That's a fucking try hard move.
It's like it's like with, I don't know if you guys, I'm not a big baseball guy, but it's like when the baseball coaches are wearing the uniform,
right?
And stuff, it's like, are you really about to get in there? Like,
you have batting gloves on?
Yeah.
For what?
You got cleats on the sideline. Like, what are you doing?
4th down and 1. Harbaugh subs himself.
Yeah, get some. Yeah, come on.
Nobody knows this play better than I do.
Well, it's kind of funny that I am saying that because, like, his demeanor has changed. Because he was on the hot seat.
Oh, yeah.
Like, Michigan fans, they kind of wanted him gone.
Well, then you were a Colts fan, you said earlier, right?
No,
I'm not. That's
I'm
not
a Colts fan. He's a Ravens fan.
The rumors were him going to Indy because they kind of run the same offense, and Jonathan Taylor,
He played there too.
Yeah.
I didn't hate the idea of Harbaugh coming to Indy. But I do hate the idea of Harbaugh staying at Michigan. So it was a lose-lose for me.
Yeah. It's true.
Well, let's throw it back to you talking about you being invited to a recent practice under Rule. What kind of differences did you notice between, like, a typical Bo Pelini practice and a Matt Rule practice? Was there anything that was kind of significant?
You know, some of the similarities, I would say, like, they had, as you're walking to practice, I mean, they had, like, checkers, right? Guys saying, like, no earrings, tucking your shirt, where you're, like, knee pads, thigh pads. And so, and if you didn't have that, like, you were headed back to the locker room. I mean, that was, like, stuff Bo did. I don't know if I went to a couple practices under Frost. I don't remember seeing some of that. So just, like, off the bat, walking there, you could just tell there was maybe more structure. It was really organized. Everything color coordinated from the jerseys. I mean, even the practice guys were in yellow jerseys, but they were still, I mean, they no days off. I mean, they were still getting work in, pushing sleds. And so, you know, there's a lot of movement, which was encouraging. I mean, a lot of guys running around, not much standing around.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, you mentioned the size of the staff, and I would imagine it's hard to slack off no matter where you are on the roster.
Big brother.
There's eyes everywhere. Right.
Big brother's watching.
Yeah.
He's got, like, what, 40, 45 people, I think, maybe on staff
From all ranks.
Well, from,
it's
like,
not a
I'm
small
talking
staff.
like from, like, director of players operations all the way. I mean, there's a lot of guys and gals. So I mean, it's you could definitely tell there's people running around directing where to go. Even when they were doing, like, the 9-on-7 and 7-on-7 stuff. I mean, if you weren't in, you were still getting extra working on the side, right? Whether it was offense, defense, lineman, or catching balls. So you gotta appreciate that. Also, I feel like with spring ball though, And with this being Matt Rule's first, right, taste of what practice is like, I mean, he's probably figuring out, who's playing what, who's doing what. I just want to see you out there running. What do you look like not pushing weights and playing basically basketball in the wintertime, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So, and you had mentioned you have seen some, I would say, elite DBs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just name like 5 of them.
Yeah.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
that.
NFL.
Right. Was that a focus for you when you were watching practice?
Yeah, it was a cool. Like I said, the room I walked into was just wild. I mean, you talk about guys that are technicians from Prince and Alfonso that are just really, but different players too, right? And I think, as I said earlier, I had 4 different position coaches, but it was almost, it was pretty cool to like pick up different things from each coach, right? Like Corey Raymond was a real big, LSU guy, played in the NFL, was a good technician too. And then Terry Joseph was more cerebral, right? Like Nubo's defense, could teach the defense better. So you kind of picked up different things from all those guys, which was pretty fun. And yeah, the defense that arguably, I think, Bo's probably one of the best defensive minds there is in the game of football. But the thing about his defense, you have to just really know know where all your help is and know what the whole concepts in order to play within the defense too. So sometimes it's hard to grasp for some guys, but at the end of the day, once you got it, it was like, okay, wow, you can almost like cheat the defense a little bit, right? And play to your strengths and know where your help is. And, but yeah, as I got older, it was like, all right, well, now I've been in it for 3-4 years. So you just, pick things up. So,
yeah. Did you see any similarities? I know you were probably just at one practice, but did you see any similarities in the short time you were at looking at a Rule practice? Did you get to see any of the DBs and see how they were working? Did you?
Yeah, I stayed around them just to see how they were working. A lot of good drills. They were tackling.
It
was what?
Yeah, it was a Saturday.
Wait, hold on.
It was a Saturday. Yeah, so I think they did a little bit of good on good at the end. But yeah, it was basically just like one of their first. I think because it had to be like that first week of spring walks, it was end of March. So they were on a Saturday morning and they were in full pat. Yeah, so they were they had a lot of big tackling drills, which was good to see. Yeah, and hopefully they can.
Sorry.
Keep
Joey.
that up, yeah. No, I feel you. It's the thing about the game of football is that you have to play it in order to get better, right? Like you can't tag off, you can't. Then you just get hesitant. That's when people get hurt because you're hesitant and shooting your gun. You have to shoot your gun and play full speed. And injuries are part of the game. Like people are going to get hurt. People are going to get hurt in spring ball. It's going to suck. But at the end of the day, if you're not, and that's all the ways to. Even in the 3s and the 4s, guys. Those younger guys won't get better. They need to get back to when my dad was playing. They had a freshman team where that freshman team played like the JUCOs from Kansas and Air Force.
That would be ideal.
And so you get some of those younger teams. You could play like Kearney and or other schools and just get those young guys reps, because if you get reps, then when you get in the game, you're more comfortable. It's a feel thing, and you can be able to play free.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk lately about the spring game's coming up.
It is
this Saturday.
Oh,
last year there was thud tackling, and there's they were soft. I guess that's just the most simple way to say it. But a lot of people, maybe not this time, because with Rule, they're tackling quarterbacks. They're seeing live action. They're actually being sacked. And in the spring game, it sounds like that they're going to be tackled.
Yeah.
And I haven't heard anyone complain, but it's like Nebraska can't afford to be in this mindset of, we have to be careful. Listen, this team has been 3-9 and 4-8. Nebraska doesn't have any right to be. We can't tackle. No, we need to conserve our depth. Man, just play the game. You have to play the game. Like you said, you have to play the game in order to actually get better at it.
Yeah, and there's a time and a place, right, throughout the week, whether you're in spiders or shells or just, walk through and things. So I feel like as long as the communication's there, right, hey, quarterbacks are live this period or whatnot, and all of it's scripted, right? So they know if you're looking at your practice schedule, okay, towards the end, we're going to be going live or we're going to be doing stuff, it'll build up from Indy into all the stuff. So that's the fun part. And like you said too, there's not, there's not room for. I mean, we have a crowded quarterback room. I mean, hopefully one of them can play.
You got 75
Like,
scholarship quarterbacks. I think it's okay if they get hit.
There's like you think one of them can hopefully play and throw the ball and run, and so hopefully the spring game they'll let those guys get play free and give the fans. I'm sure the fans are going to want to see it. The new Herbie's going to be there, probably hooting and hollering. So
Oh, Frankie.
Frank Solich will be there.
You touched on exactly where I was going to go. Is this quarterback room?
Mm-hmm.
This is, I feel like, one of the first times in a very long time where it feels like we do have a genuine quarterback competition. Like for years, it has been like, oh, this is our guy. Walking even in the spring game, you're like, oh, this is our guy right here. And obviously, Casey's still rehabbing just a little bit. Still working back to where he can be there full time. We don't really I'm not saying like we don't have to be safe. We still want our players to not get injured, whatever. But we can afford to go live. Let's show them, like, if again, like you said, if you're being soft in practice, you're going to be soft in a game. Like, you got to play.
NFL blitz.
Yeah. I want people dropping bows out there like it's a fucking WWE.
Snoop Dogg's people's elbows.
No, I think it's going to be fun on Saturday to just finally see football, see a different regime, see how they handle the spring game. I know that like Bo did some different things during his time. I know you guys did like some skill challenge stuff. I remember that. Obviously the infamous cat thing, that was cool.
Yeah, that was my senior year, 2014,
do you have any favorite spring game moments or anything?
When one of them got canceled because of a snow, like a thunderstorm came in, we were all like, oh yeah, we can go drink some beer and like spring ball's over.
And you were 21, of course, right?
Of course, yeah.
But you can say that because you guys were winning games.
Yeah. And so,
9.
we won 9-10 games constantly. So everybody was still mad. But
no, I think he meant 9 beers.
Or not,
No, 9 games.
One beer per win. Let's go.
When the spring game got canceled, it was probably a few more than 9. But Bo mixed it up a little bit. Spring ball, I always say this, spring ball is harder than like fall camp and stuff because in the springtime you're going to school still, but you still have weight room, film, and you're at practice, right? Which is pretty grueling to where in the fall, like you start early, so you're just football, like you're not in class until like that first week, right? When school starts. And then it's like you're already in like game prep, right? So you can kind of just focus on football and fall. So spring's tough because you're, balancing those schedules. And so it's a grind because finals are coming up for these kids probably soon, like you're making sure your grades are good. And so spring, I mean, you get to the spring game, you're like, man, I'm almost there. But then hopefully, you can some of these guys are maybe trying to win jobs. You'll also see probably a lot of attrition right after spring, guys leaving. I mean, they got a lot of guys on scholarship you mentioned.
Yeah.
Some guys will see the writing on the wall, some won't. So just because you score a touchdown in the spring game doesn't mean necessarily you're there in the fall, right? Some things will change from the summer to the fall, but it's good to get the fans there, right? It'll be cool to see Matt Rule first time in Memorial Stadium with fans there. I mean, I'm sure the energy will be unmatched. Hopefully the weather is beautiful and nice. And
50.
It's gonna be okay.
It's like 40 something.
46.
46 is the high.
Yeah, 46.
Football weather, baby.
Hey, whatever.
So you mentioned that, the spring game is kind of stressful because you're still in school and you got all that going. What is more stressful, preparing for the spring game, knowing that your finals are coming up, knowing you've got the spring game, or week 1 where like it's time to kick this season off the right way?
That's both hard because both of those, I feel like when you get to the spring game, at least I don't know what Matt Rule does, but like if it's on the Big Ten Network, right, everything might be dumbed down a little bit. Like this scrimmage that they probably had last weekend was probably more of the install that they had in, right? They'll maybe do some base stuff, but I don't know how much they'll show of what Matt Rule is going to be doing on offense or defense. And so you're kind of like, okay, this is going to be base. And then the first week of the season is like you're in game prep, right? So scout teams are formed. You're more getting ready for Minnesota, right? So it's like, okay, now I just know my job and I know what I need to do, whether I'm on scout team, whether I'm on, the starting quarterback or I'm on the 1s or 2s, like here we go, like it's game time, like it's season's here, like so maybe the season would be more stressful because you're just like, all right, now the season's getting here, like this is when shit gets real. And the grind starts until you finally get that bye week and you're like, I get a week off a little
when
bit
all the
to
Twitter
recover.
warriors come out.
Yeah. And it'll be fun because like I said, you open up on a Thursday night in Minnesota and then you go to Boulder, right? Primetime Deion Sanders. I mean, what they're doing in Boulder, it'll be interesting to see how you take that team that was arguably one of the worst teams in Power 5 conference and flip it around. But
worse than Nebraska.
I think they've got an
He
average,
ain't hard to find.
an average height of 5'6" over there. Is what I read.
120 pounds.
Well, okay,
Yeah.
let's talk about that.
Hold on. Can we
Yeah,
talk
we're
about that
gonna
after a
have to.
break? We're at 35
Oh,
minutes.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Let's take
shit,
a break,
yeah,
get new beers.
Yep.
Sweet.
Okay.
Cash rules everything around me. Cream, get the money. Dollar bill, yo. We have the saying, no block, no rock.
Thank you, former Colorado wide receivers coach Troy Walters. Speaking of, we left off talking about Coach Dion, Coach Prime, and Colorado.
Ain't hard to find.
Ain't hard to find. You got the portal open. You got a lot of Buffaloes roaming free now, leaving the program, and they're in the portal. A lot of videos going around with really small dudes running around.
Suspect.
Yeah, and just you being a former player, like you've seen these videos, is like, and it's not just Husker fans talking crap. It's a lot of people around the country going, "Wait, what?
Is this a joke?
This is rigged, right? Like this is all an optical illusion." Small players, like, what did you think watching these videos?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, why even put the content out there? You know, at the end of the day, just let those guys work. It sounds like they got a lot of guys that are in the transfer portal already. 7 when it opened. It's like, how many of these kids are actually were scholarship players from last year? Who knows? I don't know. You know, with the attrition coming in, he said he brought his luggage with him. So some of those guys were like, yeah, who knows? I mean, I will say Boulder's a beautiful place, though. I mean, right there in the mountains. So he's probably going to be able to recruit there, and he's trying to get some guys. But for this, I mean, I've seen some of those videos on Twitter. I don't read much into it because at the end of the day, it'll be interesting to see what product he puts out there, right? Come week 2 when we play him.
Well, yeah, because all those guys that you see getting burnt and, you know, all those small guys, they're probably not even going to be in the program, right?
Well, listen, from a media guy,
yes, he is.
I can tell you that from my side of the table, I'm looking at that, and that's Dion showing the whole world we got plenty of room for you 4-star, 5-star guys. We got plenty of room. We have need.
You say you're a media guy. Are you sure you're not a PR guy? That's a really good spin right there.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see.
Ain't hard to find.
He ain't hard to find. But
What's insane to me is the clip that everyone is talking about right now is that Travis Hunter touchdown over that tiny little DB.
You look like Connor Cavillak.
Look like
No,
you.
here's the thing. Travis Hunter looks like me. Travis Hunter is 1 inch taller than me and 20 pounds heavier. You guys can see me if you're not watching on YouTube.
He's not a big guy.
I'm not a big guy. Travis Hunter is 1 inch and 20 pounds bigger than I am. You think I'm a fucking D1 player? God, no. Any program that offered me a scholarship, I would laugh and then be like, "Oh shit, are you serious?"
Wait.
Like I don't
Look,
get
I
me
know
wrong.
my family owns a brewery. But
Yeah, I know Travis Hunter is infinitely more athletic than I am. I am not disputing that.
Right.
But as a D1 receiver, brother.
Well, he's like DB, wide receiver, mix.
Yeah.
type
Bro,
guy.
he's everything. You see him playing corner and totally not holding the guy?
Yeah, but
see
at
that?
6'1",
Yeah, I can't
165, good luck.
We'll see that.
Wait.
I'm just afraid. I'm afraid.
Why are you afraid?
Because we're talking shit and Nebraska's going to lose.
No, they're
No,
not.
we're
It's a new
not.
regime.
Damn it.
And I can't wait for Marcus Washington to absolutely just manhandle that little guy.
M-Wash.
I
Big
want,
guy.
at the end of the Nebraska-Colorado game, I want Deion Sanders to retire. I want it to be such a fucking slaughter that he retires on the field.
And then we'll play
a la
clippings
Andrew
of him.
Luck.
Nebraska. I didn't hit from Nebraska. Remember
Yeah.
his clippings when he was supposed to be the next head coach or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
we were talking.
ain't heard Nebraska. Where's Nebraska? Yeah. You're about to find out.
Damn, that's a good idea. I got to clip that.
Yeah.
It'll be a rowdy environment. I was there in 2019 and watched. There was a lot of red. I mean, it was a fun environment. As a player, you got to love that. Just you got to get that conditioning in 'cause the altitude. I mean, it's something different.
Is that real?
Yeah, 100%. So hopefully those guys, you know, early on, or hopefully the conditioning level's there because week 2, I mean, who knows in the game of football. Could be huffing and puffing, but 2019, yeah, they had a ton of Nebraska fans, and they got alcohol in the stadium, so the fans just even get ratchet
Even
up another
rowdier.
knot. Yeah, so it'll be a good environment.
Was that Was 2019 the game where they rolled over Adrian's ankle?
No, that was at home.
That was at home.
Oh, that was at
Yeah,
home.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was 18.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, over under 10 piss bombs being thrown on the field by Colorado fans.
Over.
Yeah. Although
How many slash tires in Boulder?
there won't be any black and gold there because it's all going to be red, so it won't matter.
I'm honestly really curious about how they're going to handle that, because you can't turn away someone with a ticket, right? You can't do that, can you?
No.
I don't think so.
Like, you're going to see a lot of people wearing red with tickets.
Ticketmaster is praying that they don't.
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
I'm just curious what those people, standing at the gate with those little beep. They're going to go.
That's not the thing.
Security.
Though. It's the Colorado fans, the season ticket holders. Don't sell your tickets because we know who you are.
Yeah,
It's
all
those
6
people.
of you. It's
Yes.
a small list.
Well, look, money talks though. Like,
Oh yeah,
people are going to do it.
And Nebraska fans are stupid. Like they will pay a ridiculous amount of money to go watch Nebraska play Colorado.
Dude.
Like I won't do that because like I have like a normal paying job. Like I'm not rich, so I will not spend $300 a ticket to go to a game.
Right.
But like Joe Schmo that is a farmer that has nothing to do besides burn his money. Hell yeah, him and Shalina are going for sure, guaranteed.
Shalina.
Here's what I'm thinking.
Shalina.
I sit outside the stadium and I buy my ticket while wearing a black and gold jumpsuit with the buttons
Yes,
on it.
there it is.
I scan my ticket and then I rip it off like I'm a fucking quick change artist.
There it is.
Gotcha, motherfuckers. Go Big Red.
Like, yeah,
Get it
I'm
real
sure
cheap.
There's going to be a lot of people doing that. I have to. Boulder doesn't exactly have the most upstanding reputation.
Yeah.
I alluded to the piss bombs and the slash tires earlier.
And when you hire your coach in the 80s telling your fans not to sell your tickets, that's kind of like you live
'Cause we
rent
know
free
where
in-
you
Yeah,
are.
you live rent free in their heads.
Have they figured out how to pay their coach yet?
Who knows? Yeah.
Imagine not being able to afford $5 million a year. Talk to Matt Rule. Fucking losers.
Stupid. So during our break, we were also talking a little bit more about Bo Pelini. You were kind of going into a few stories about him, and I feel like this is a good segue because we were talking about the portal and how do you think a guy like him would handle that. If you could just go into that story you were telling us earlier about your personal opportunities.
Yeah. Well, first I want to acknowledge RIP to one of my good friends, Mark Pelini, who died in a car accident, as well as Cole Penzick recently, that I got opportunity to play with, and Sam Foltz. It's wild. It was three teammates, tragic situation. So want to acknowledge that RIP to all 3 of those guys, good friends, even better teammates. But with Bo, and I had to just say that because I lived with Mark for 4 years and he'd always call him Uncle Bo instead of Bo. And just got those opportunities to be able to see a different side of Bo too. But, Bo was, like I said in break, a guy that was really, wanting to make sure that he got the best out of all of his players, right? So it didn't matter, and I was used to some of that tough love growing up in my family too. And my dad would tell me if the coach stops yelling at you, they moved on to the next guy, right? So I never took it personal. I never got like sensitive at some of those situations. Did I get my ass chewed? Of course. Whether it was in practice or in games. So I don't know, alluding to some of those stories, a couple of them, I'll say kind of in game, which were fun. But
You were winning, right?
Yeah.
I was waiting for the little quotation marks up here.
They were fun. A couple of them I can remember. One of them, I was on punt return and I was excited, and in some reason I was just either coming back from kickoff or doing something or wasn't paying attention, and I ran out there and it was punt. And so I'm looking in the huddle, I'm like, oh shit, I'm not supposed to be in here. So I'm running off and Bo's just like sitting there with his hands on his hip. I forget who we were playing. It could have been like Illinois or something. And he's like, have you fucking lost your mind? And I'm like, I heard punt return, like, and he's like, are you not paying attention? Like, just rip my ass. So that was a good, like,
You got to know that. Come on.
Yeah, it
Come
was
on,
just
Joey.
being an airhead, just excited, ready to run out there.
Yeah, because he wanted to play so bad.
Yeah, I wanted to get out there. Some other ones I was on punt return. So again, Bo was a really good teacher. So he took over punt return my senior year. That was a really cool thing about Bo was he not only like called the defense, but when he saw there was a need, he would jump in. It didn't matter special teams or anything. So we had a really good punt returner, a freshman, DeMornay Personnel back there.
We've had him on the show a couple times.
Yeah, he's just a great guy. Brandon Riley. I mean, there's a lot of good guys. Janovich, Brandon Riley. We had a good core on our punt return. And so, yeah, Bo was a good teacher. So he would teach if the ball was punted and it bounces off somebody's leg, that's a live ball. So if the returner picks it up or if the ball is dead where it got hit. So that happened against Northwestern, and I picked it up and actually ran it for a touchdown, and they called it inverted whistle. And but then against Wisconsin, same thing happened, and I tried to pick it up, and it was colder than shit that game, and fumbled it, and I get back, and he's like, did it touch it? I was like, I swear to God, like it touched my player, like they're putting it on the instant replay, and he was like freaking out, like, you better not have lost the ball, blah blah blah. I was like, oh shit, and it worked out in my favor. It was the right play, and so he's like, all right, good heads up play. He was that kind of coach to where he would put the fear of God in you, but also he could have fun and mess around too once he got that trust with you. So.
Like, I am a very, when I get yelled at, I'm a very nervous guy. I start to laugh. Was there ever a time that you or one of your teammates, like while Bo was just going in on him, just started to laugh?
That'd be a bad idea.
I don't know about that. I mean, he did. You guys have probably seen. I mean, there was some of those pranks and stuff that have been put out. Thaddeus Randall, defensive tackle, where his phone went off in the meeting. That was the thing. Like in Twitter and stuff. Like he really social media was there from 2014. So like in 2012, like Twitter was like popping off and people were tweeting, and he did have his fair share of being like no, get off Twitter, do these things. And but yeah, they played that prank with Thaddeus Randall where his phone went off and then he smashed it and he thought they were fighting, but they really just like it was a gimmick, and everybody was like, holy shit, like what is going on? Did he just get beat up? Like, so he would play around and like do some pranks like that, which make it fun, especially when you're like always serious all the time, like during fall camps or be like surprised, oh, we're going to a movie today. Like now you see that all through content, right? They're pushing content, doing like
WWE
stuff.
shit.
Like, like the marketing department wasn't doing all that when we were down there. So, it's changed a little bit because they put it on there, but we still did a lot of those things, I think it's like the Champion Center in Lincoln that used to be where you could go and play video games and do stuff. So we did.
Yeah. Bo Pelini, like, he has the reputation of being surly, no nonsense. But you think of like some of the most like memorable Nebraska football moments, just like silly stuff sometimes, like the cat thing.
Yeah.
He came out wearing the alternate jersey one time, right? The reveal. Yeah. You mentioned the Thaddeus Randall phone. What was that? Jack Hoffman.
Yeah.
Like he's had a lot of like, not even really low key, but just like, damn, you think back and it's like, you had a lot of cool moments. And of course, winning 9 games a year was kind of cool too.
Yeah. I mean, it was genuine though, right? Like he did it like, that's how he was feeling that day. It wasn't like something crazy planned. Like
the wind blew the right way.
Like,
he also had like a Bo Pelini, Carl Pelini, like segment on KETV as like a joke with Matt Schick and like
No, he did play, and I mean, at the end of the day, we won 9-10 games. I was telling this I think last week but it's one of those things where I feel so bad for those seniors and like the last couple of years, right? That you put in all that work because it's a grind of a season. And then, I mean, I was fortunate enough to go to, San Diego and playing Holiday Bowls in Orlando twice for Capital One Bowls. Like,
Wasn't that nice, right?
San Diego and Florida, and granted, we won one bowl game while I was down there. We beat Georgia in the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl.
Doesn't that sound weird now?
Cool.
Yeah.
Considering Georgia is what they are now.
Right.
Oh,
And
I thought you were just saying bowl.
That too. That does sound weird.
They had Todd Gurley. They had a good team. And it was rainy. It was really rainy that game.
I remember that
a little
game.
sloppy.
Was that the
Anunwa?
Anunwa 99-yard
he had
catch?
the 99-yard touchdown from Tommy Armstrong. Yeah, so that was, I mean, but we got to play against like South Carolina. We played Georgia twice actually in bowl games, and USC. My senior year, we played USC in a bowl game, and all the guys after the game were like, "Man, we need to play more Big Ten teams. Like, you guys were tough." It's like we don't even have our head coach. Like, and some of our players were injured with Roach being out. Mark Queenie was out too, our starting center. I think Utter might have started that game against USC too. So I mean, we had it was just, I mean, it's bowl games, right? So you put in all that work, even for the coaches, right, to bring their families and their kids out to San Diego or Orlando to just enjoy a week, not being in Lincoln, Nebraska in December or January.
Yeah,
so,
weird.
Right.
So going into those bowl games, this is a question I've always wanted to ask. How stoked were you to see what the gift packages were like?
Man, it was, they'd give us Best Buy gift cards.
Oh yeah, Best Buy's still.
But it was like,
technically around.
yeah, we'd get like, I still honestly in my unfinished basement right now have like a TV and a TV stand that I bought from like, I would be trying to get like shit I would need.
Wow, smart guy.
Stuff that I need in my apartment or wherever I was living at the time. Some guys would sell them. Some guys would get the PlayStations or get whatever. But it was nice. I mean, yeah, they gave us. I would say Adidas wasn't all that nice though when I was down there from 2010 to 14. So the gear's gotten a lot better. But when you get the Bull like gear and the stuff, it was always like really cool to check that out and get whatever. Yeah, the Best Buy gift cards, and we get like a watch. We got a Bull ring when we won the bowl game too, which was cool. So I mean, have those right to give to your kids.
Wish you would have brought it.
Yeah. I was waiting for the bling to pop out.
I'd be like, what is that?
What is that?
Is that a game? A Gator Bowl ring?
Yeah, right.
Let's go.
You ever go look at that TV stand and just be like, hey, thanks, Big Ten.
You can hear the crowd.
Right. When my wife we would finish the basement and get rid of it, I'm like, no, like I just had this for like,
I earned that.
Yeah. You know, it was cool to, like I said, the kids that haven't been able to go to the bowl game in the last 4 years or so, it's just like a bummer for them because I know how much work they put in for the last 5 years of their career, and then to not go out and get that opportunity to hang out in San Diego for a week.
Right.
Yeah.
Do something.
I mean, that's kind of one of the appeals, used to be one of the appeals was going to Nebraska was, hey, like, we're going to make a bowl. We're going to play in a cool place like San Diego, or we're going to go to Texas and like you're going to be able to travel and like see some things and get those gift packages.
Yeah.
They haven't been able to do that lately.
Hey, they got to go to Ireland.
Yeah, they went to Ireland.
Well, that's not.
That's cool.
Right.
It has only been 6, maybe 7 years.
Jesus.
Yeah.
You say it out loud.
So,
Yeah.
just
I'm
not.
here to make you sad. That's actually the
And
only reason I came today.
yours-
Mission accomplished.
Okay. Well, I know we could cut this out, but I know you were going to try to say something when we were talking about Bo Pelini, the cat, like you were going to say something, but maybe.
Oh no, there was just that dance. That dance that
yeah, the Harlem Shake.
the Harlem Shake.
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, we did do that. That was like 2012 or 13. Harlem, that was fun. That was random that Bo would want to do that, but yeah, we all brought like costumes. At first, you're like, damn, is he serious? Like, are we really about to do this? But like, that was like the viral thing.
That
back
was
then,
like
right?
the thing,
Like,
man.
Shake.
do the Harlem Shake thing, and they had Jamal Turner like came in motion or got like a flag, and like Bo was like slamming something,
Yeah.
and then they turned it into.
See,
that
they would
video,
always
which is
turn
fun.
Bo's anger
Yeah.
into a funny moment.
Right,
Like with
because-
him breaking the phone.
Yeah.
And then that.
Well, because that's like what everybody saw, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, I mean, I honestly, arguably, I say this too. I think ESPN, it was the first time that they probably dedicated somebody to solely have a camera on the head coach for the whole game, because they were just like waiting for something
His
to
antics.
go crazy. And I mean, gosh, at the end of the day, like most coaches you see aren't like, I mean,
Nick
the ones
Saban.
that win games, I mean, yeah, I mean, they're not Mr. Nice guys too. And, but at the end of the day, like we said earlier, it's like, these are 18 to 22-year-old kids. A lot of them that are coming, either coming to Nebraska for the first time, living on their own. I mean, trying to manage their time. Like, you need discipline, direction. And like I said, I was thankful that I had Bo, because at the end of the day, he prepared me to be on time to meetings, go to work, do those things that you need to do in life to just like, keep getting better and keep being the best you can be. So
I love that Bo now has kind of like, he's really put himself out there. He has a podcast, and
him and
he
his
has
son.
gone back and looked back at things. And I think he's kind of pulling out some of those good parts of his personality that we're talking about now, and like being able to relive. So it's kind of nice getting to see like the fun side of Bo Pelini. Do you ever think Bo would get back into coaching? Or do you think he's kind of
I think he's had a great career. I don't know what this landscape that we were talking about, the transfer portal will probably be tough for him.
very tough for him.
because, I mean, in any coaching today, like trying to manage a roster, even for Rule, right? They have 100 and some kids on scholarship. I mean, just trying to manage your roster, you're trying to hold some opportunities because, like we said, I mean, after spring ball, you still have the summer. I mean, there might be kids that come in the portal that you could fill a need. So to manage a roster in today's like day and age, it would be tough. And then, so I think the transfer portal being there, no loyalty or guys just hopping schools. And then also you kind of feel for the kids in high school. I mean, even a guy like myself being a walk-on to get developed that get passed on because they're going to fill a need. They're going to go get the kid from a smaller school, whether it's basketball or so that's already put it on film. The Montana State receiver, all these kids that is like, okay, you played at a Division II or 1AA, but at football, I mean, like I know you can play, so they're going to go get that kid to fill a need versus maybe developing kids too. You see like just a shift. And where college athletics is. So that, as a coach, you got to be mindful of all that, right? Recruiting, but then filling a need when you need one and going to get like Torre, right? From Montana State. Like he's playing in the NFL. Like he played good downs at Montana and came to Nebraska and it translated right away. I mean, our punter, like you find those kids, right? So that has to be hard as a coach, I would think, because
and that's like one of the biggest stories right now. You talk about we were talking a little bit about depth in the QB room and or wide receiver room, and there's some good depth all around the football team, right? But what are the things people are talking about? Defensive line, offensive line. Like what you just said is we need people at offensive line right now, and you have a lot of young guys in there, some of whom we have no idea what their name is. But what is the conversation always? What's the transfer portal got? Whose big name is in there? Who's got snaps? Who's got whatever? Like we're looking for the transfer portal to fill those needs instead of like looking within, right? Mm-hmm. And sometimes that's a necessity, but that's the big storyline.
Hey, Matt Rule, that's his thing. And I feel like you would have blossomed well with Matt Rule because of the whole development thing. Like that's what he really emphasizes. And I'm interested to see how he can navigate this current world of college football because he's never coached in college football with the transfer portal and the NIL.
No, and so, he was a walk-on too from Penn State.
So being able to walk the lines of the NIL transfer portal and development.
Right. And not to mention the new facility that they're going to get coming this fall. So, I mean, you have everything's there. And it'll be interesting to see kind of, how they work that into that whole grand scheme of like you talked about, transfer portal, developing guys, filling needs for the season and managing the 85 or 86 scholarships that you get. I mean, and then you have the NIL, right? So then you can get, some kids might be getting, for me, it would have been the beer money, right? For the weekends or the Runza, the little Runza thing that you could do. I mean, that's what I think. But also, I'm all for the kids getting opportunities to make a little extra cash while you're going to school. I mean, I think of, Kenny Bell when he was down there at Nebraska with me. I mean, that's a kid that could have, took advantage of those 4 years.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he was a walking billboard with that afro. To be able to just, monetize his name, image. You still see 80 jerseys around, the stadium and people for Halloween. I mean, Rex Burkhead was the same type of player, right? And, to just be able to capture that, to, set his family up and do things, that's what these kids today are going to get the opportunity to do. So,
yeah. Yeah, I remember seeing Kenny Bell outside of the stadium last season, and he was trying to give away tickets to go to the game, and people were not taking them because that's how bad it got last year.
I will tell you,
go to Barry's or go to the bar, have a cocktail, and you can watch it on TV. So I don't blame him. Yeah,
I was gonna say, if you want to find Kenny Bell, if he's in Lincoln, which he actually, I believe, just moved back to Nebraska. Go to the bar. On any given Saturday, you will find Kenny Bell. I got to become. He probably does not recognize me. It's very easy to recognize him.
Well, he listens every week, so he might.
Yeah, of course. I would go talk to Kenny every week. He's a great dude.
Oh, down to earth as can be. I mean, one of the great guys. Got good pleasure to be a teammate of his for 4 years, and
we had on the pod.
Yeah, we had a close class. A lot of the walk-ons that I came in with, and the scholarship kids and guys. So we had a fun time down there. We were all close too. I still keep, like I said. Trevor Roach was my best man. He was a walk-on from Elkhorn. My wedding. A lot of these guys were, still keep in touch with, talk on the daily. And, that's what Nebraska does, I feel like. And they have such a good life skills program to, like, set you up to learn about all those things. I mean, at the end of the day, the game of football, volleyball, basketball, but whatever sport you're playing is going to end, right? And then, you're going to remember those times that you had with your friends and build families and do all those things and get to do those with your buddies. So
Yeah.
So you talk about being so close with your teammates. Since you've left Nebraska, have you talked to Bo at all?
yeah, like I said earlier, rest in peace, my Mark Queenie at his funeral, got the opportunity to just catch up with Bo. Unfortunately, I missed Cole's funeral last week, and I know he came out and showed up. So a lot of the former guys were there too. And yeah, got the opportunity just to catch up and talk about some of the stuff that we're talking about, right? Some of those plays and fun opportunities and unfortunate circumstances, right? Like those are things. And as we get older, it's like funerals and weddings and things. And then you're like, damn, I realized like, I need to keep in contact with a lot of these guys and, take those trips, those yearly buddy trips and do those things. That's the reason, and it's funny because when you're in Lincoln, right, and you're doing those things with each other every single day, and that's like you graduate, it's like boom, like Kenny goes back to Boulder, people go back to their hometowns, and you don't get that constant like playing FIFA, messing around, like interactions, those spontaneous collisions that you get now that you're like growing up. So, but yeah, get opportunity to catch up with him, and he still remembers all those. I mean, like I said, he's just a good mind. Can remember like everything, all the plays, and it's funny. He was my Austin Williams, who he was at the bowling.
Yeah, he was at the bowling.
And he had long hair when and Bo would call him Thor. So he's like, Thor. And Austin's just a character. He's one of my good buddies too. And it's just funny to like see them. And, I had long hair my freshman year and stuff, and Bo like hated it. But it was funny. Austin did too. And, it's just some of those good memories. But
Did he have a nickname for you? Were you Thor Jr.?
I don't know. No, probably. I mean,
Poor Thor.
But yeah, right. Yeah.
No, he
Didn't
just
have the hammer.
Yeah, he just knew to answer to, "Hey, motherfucker, did you just fumble the ball?"
Yeah. She's like, yes, sir. No, sir.
Hey, it's kick return, not punt.
Yeah.
Damn it.
So you talked about opportunities outside of football, and I feel like this is a good segue into kind of what life was like after leaving Nebraska. What are you doing now? Plug yourself a little bit. Tell the listeners kind of like, what are you doing now?
Yeah. So I graduated in 2014. I took an entry-level sales job selling wine for about a year. So I lived with Trevor Roach. He was training for the NFL, like doing his thing. And I was like, damn, I got to figure out what I'm doing, right? So I took a job, just, it was a job, not a career, just selling wine, actually a small distributor, Italian Vine out of Lincoln. So just selling like Hy-Vees, Old Market, doing that. And I was just networking with people, meeting people, and ran into a gentleman that was working at the University of Nebraska Foundation that they were growing kind of some of their annual level fundraising. And he's like, hey, you said you wanted to travel, you wanted to do some of these things. I think you should apply. So I applied there, in like 2015 and joined them, University of Nebraska Foundation, doing some annual level fundraising for all 4 campuses. So UNK, UNO, UNMC, and then UNL, and had a little success with that for about a year, and then got pulled into doing some major gift fundraising with the College of Business. So right now I work for the University of Nebraska Foundation and do fundraising for the College of Business. So
awesome.
Tagged on to the end of the fundraising for the new building. I don't know if you guys have seen it. We raised $84 million for the new College Business building.
It's fucking gorgeous.
It's immaculate. It was the first building on UNL's campus that was fully privately funded. And so, yeah, it was a fun opportunity. I was a business grad myself. And when I was talking earlier just about, the public business schools in the Big Ten and what that means, can remember vividly my professors talking about, hey, what a Big Ten business degree, the Michigans, the Northwesterns, the Indianas, what it means, and kind of being the naive student athlete, thinking that move was for athletics, and really what, graduating from a business school with a Big Ten business degree, and then now getting the opportunity to be on the administrative side and do some fundraising, kind of leave the place better. That building, is immaculate. It's a one-stop shop. You can go there and study. The older building, you didn't really have much room for studying or getting some food. This building has a whole cafe, a lot of breakout rooms to get your work done. And it's been a fun job. I get to work with a lot of amazing people, a lot of really philanthropic individuals that really want to give back to the university and relationship build.
So I am very curious about the new facilities. Before we wrap up, we hear all over the place, like this is like world changing, right? We hear about all the great things that these facilities are. And personally, I don't know a whole lot about them. I know that they're like world class, not in every glass. They're world class,
Not yet.
right? But I just kind of want to know like your side. Like I want to know a little bit more about the facilities that they're building.
Yeah, so the Go Big project, so they spent some time fundraising for it. They announced, I think, 2018-19, right before the pandemic. So had some hiccups, I'm sure, with a lot of that stuff when it comes to just like getting the materials and everything with the pandemic. But, from a facilities perspective, it's kind of keeping up with the Joneses. But I will say one thing with Nebraska is that we've been fortunate enough to where, we have a lot of donors and individuals to where we've been kind of self-funded. Some of the programs like Clemson, they're taking loans out from banks, building these stuff that you see on Twitter or Instagram, we've been able to not have to go that route, which is really, a testament to a lot of our fan base and donors and alumni. But yeah, this new facility, I haven't, I've just walked around it. It's going to be, I think they're planning on getting the football team and the locker room and the athletic training room will be done hopefully by August, they said, so they don't have to transition them into the season. And then I think there's a weight room, there's football offices. I think the phase 2 is the life skills and training table for all the other athletes too. So, but to answer your question, yeah, I think, it's something that you have to do when you talk about what these kids want nowadays. I don't know if they want more NIL money or they want this new weight room, but at the end of the day, I think, Rule sounds like he's big on recovery. The stuff was maybe a little outdated, the locker room that we were in and kind of the cold tubs and, the physical therapy stuff. So hopefully that they can, get the kids that do get hurt can have a easy recovery path.
Well, if you're not going thud every practice, you're going to need it.
Right. Yeah. So it looks like it's going to be, they invested a lot of time and money in this facility and it's a perfect location right there, kind of northeast part of the stadium. So, good use of space, in my opinion. It was a soccer field. The soccer team played there and the track when I was there, and they've moved that now over to kind of Innovation Campus by Bob Devaney and have their own facility too. So
cool. Okay. You guys have any more questions?
No, no more questions. I guess one more. Are you going to the spring game?
I am. Yep. I'm going down to the spring game. Yep. I'm excited.
Well, We'll be tailgating. We'll be tailgating. We'll be down there. So if you need a spot to grab a NBC beer, we'll be down there.
Are you guys gonna bring the keg down there? The tap down there?
We're gonna bring some canned beer down there. It'll be we'll have.
That's cool that they brew that for you guys. That's awesome. That's
Oh, the NBNR beer.
It won't be that beer.
No. We won't be bringing Nebraska Brewing Company beer. Just some of the beers that are canned.
Someday, get the new.
If they can
get a little Bubba keg or something,
it would be cool.
You got to talk to somebody who works here.
We'll be down there tailgating. We're gonna do a live show before the game and stuff.
Nice.
So if you're bored, we tailgate in the Haymarket Lot 21. Softball bill.
Or if you're not bored,
or if you're not bored and you just want some food or some interaction.
Have some fun.
Come our way. But
no, awesome. Yeah, I'm excited for the spring game. Football, this is the time of the season where it just kind of like lulls, right? You have playoff basketball or hockey and stuff, but then
baseball's going on.
Yeah, I'm not a big baseball guy, so it's hard. You have some golf in here and there, but some football outdoors. And then after this, it's kind of like, let's get ready to go. And it'll be interesting to see how the summer goes into the fall, and we'll be ready to rock. So
Amen. Joey Felici.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me on.
Thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
All you guys, go to @NBNR podcast on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook,
Pornhub.
I don't know.
I think you have a few.
Oh no, I upload all of our YouTube clips to Pornhub.
Oh, good.
They are not pornographic. I'm trying to get more views.
Is that for Dirksen? Yeah, for Dirksen.
No, hey, I'm trying to keep Dirksen away. If you come to the tailgate on the spring game, I will make sure Zach Dirksen is not there. What's funny is I know he's going to listen to this episode because he texted me as soon as I told him Joey was on.
I love that kid. He's a good guy.
Yeah. Don't say that.
Listen, we do need more TikTok viewers, so I guess I have to start showing a little more skin.
Little TNA.
Little TNA will help.
Oh man, they're banning that in Montana now, right?
We are not Montana.
Not yet.
I said Joe Montana.
May you stop. All right, guys. You want to sign off?
Yep.
I'm one of your hosts, Jared Hull,
Mike Delaware,
Kyle Byers,
Connor Cavalack,
Joey Felici.
And as always, beat Minnesota and beat Colorado and GBR.